Windy City Savage. Today we have a special guest. We are collaborating with the one and only Reject Rundown. We got TDK and we got the old man from the jailhouse himself. Go ahead, shout you guys out, Phyllis.
What's up, everybody? It's TDK here, man. Yes, we are collaborating today. Fellow brother, fellow reject, actually, from way back when, man. It's good to have a nice collaboration. And we've been keeping tabs on each other, making sure we're all doing well, succeeding well. Here at the Reject Rundown, we do a great show on Friday nights on Kick, Twitch, and YouTube, of course, and stuff. You know, we talk about everything entertainment. So wrestling's all collaborating in there. And that's why we're doing it. We're going to have a nice little show today for you guys and maybe a little special little thing for you a little bit later. So I'm going to let old man, you go ahead, take the floor, man.
Hey, everybody, how's it going? Give me 1 second. There we go. How's everybody doing so far? Old man RJ, happy to be here. Can't get into the live broadcast, as you can see, so
he's from jail right now.
We did beverage.
He is in jail, man. He's in jail. He had a DUI the other day, so he got stuck in there for the night. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is. Appreciate it.
That's why he sounds all phony. But yeah, like I said, man, I worked with these guys back in the day. We're all good brothers here. Obviously, it was time to get a collab going. Thank you, fellas, for joining me. So, hey, you already know the business. Let's get into some wrestling tonight.
Hell yeah.
All righty. Let me ask you guys something. There's been talks, and now it looks like more than ever, WWE is finally going to return. More than not, they're going to return more house shows live. So, what are you guys thinking about that? For me, I'm excited because house shows used to be very affordable thing to go with the family, the kids, or the friends, or the brothers. Doesn't matter. It was an affordable event that will come near your city. Yep. And then from there, pretty much, hey, it was affordable. It was fun. It was good times. And a lot of time, obviously, it wasn't like kayfabe. So we would have some crazy matches. I remember one time in my hometown, we had Brock Lesnar versus Kane at a random house show. It was crazy. Now, Brock squashed Kane in a minute, so it didn't last long. But the point is, we get some crazy stuff. And it looks like they want to return with more house shows. That way they can make it affordable for the fans. We already know Cody Rhodes has been talking about this, and he's been a big advocate. I'm saying house shows are pretty good. Also, as well, is that wrestlers could get a lot more practice if they're able to do house shows. So let me start with you, old man. How about you want to take it away? What you got to say on this?
Okay, so it's good that they're going back to house shows. The only concern I have based on house shows is it opens the possibility of wrestlers getting injured within the house show itself.
Which makes sense.
So that's the only risk they would be you can develop injuries within house shows. But the good thing about house shows is that it lets you bring in the younger talent into those shows so people get aware of who they are also.
Yep.
So that's true. That's a good idea, is to do something like that and explore more.
Okay. No, that's a good point. Really good point, old man. All right, TDK, what you got to say about this, man? What's your 2 cents, buddy?
I would have to actually agree with you guys when it comes to it. It's exciting that they're actually going back to live house shows. Because the big key to what was said between Cody and why he advocates this is because it's practice. It gives these superstars time in the ring with each other. If we don't see it on camera and in pay-per-view events type of deal and these PLEs, it gives these wrestlers time and experience with each other. So when it's time for them to put on a show like that on the main stage, they know each other. The less mistakes we'll end up seeing on live camera, all that kind of stuff plays in a factor in that. Yes, it does. It does affect the wrestlers at times when it comes to their time on the road, but for their performance in the ring, it's always going to be beneficial. It's always going to capitalize so much when they're in that ring and giving us a show that we expect that's going to be good. Expect. There's very few wrestlers, very few superstars that are going to give us a one-off, like the likes of Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels when they had that WrestleMania match. They never wrestled before that, not even the house shows. This was their first match that they were having, and it went phenomenal. Right. Only that's always a pebble in the freaking water. Only going to happen like that. But the majority of the time, superstars need to have practice with each other and have these type of matches on the house shows to get used to each other. So when it's time to get in the ring on the big stage of them all, they know how to manage each other's body shapes. They know what the mannerisms. They even know the signals even prior to them telling each other while they're doing their matches, saying this is my spot. They know it's there. Now, the other key thing that old man brought up when it came to the injuries is a big thing. Yes, that's always a factor. It really is. But it's a rarity that we get a lot of injuries. The last time we had a big injury was when Seth Rollins had a little match like that, a shadow match against Kane, if I'm not mistaken, when he was doing that turnbuckle DDT that he likes to do. He flips over, tears his ACL. So, yeah, that happens. But again, it's not uncommon when it comes to Seth Rollins. That boy's an injury-prone dude, so it is what it is. But that's what happens. Go ahead.
Well, the thing is, too, is that maybe they won't get injured during the house shows, but they add the extra level of stress to their body for that week. Correct. So let's say they're doing a Raw, we're doing a house show on Thursday or Sunday. Yep. Regardless, it's like you're adding another match, which adds extra layers of injury eventually going to your body. Correct. So I get what you're saying, though. It's less likely that we ever hear an injury at a house show, but it is also kind of a concern because, when you out there more in the ring, you're basically putting more stress on your body, which eventually leads to injury down the line. So it may be in a house show or it may be on a Monday Night Raw or on a SmackDown or a PLE, but that is a concern. But like you guys say, one says obviously injury and, it's a risk, it's a factor. But as well, like you guys, it would be extra reps, extra practice.
Correct.
And also the biggest thing is that, like the old man said, it's going to add all these new superstars who don't get enough screen time on Raw, SmackDown, or any of the other stuff going on, NXT. They could all finally compete on a live house show. And pretty much this, Cody Rhodes said it best. Everyone has fun at these house shows because there's no rehearsal. There's no like, hey guys, we got to play kayfabe. Hey, they have fun out there. They really do have fun. They go off of kayfabe. They go off the script, and they're having fun. You could tell they're having all a good time, and the fans are having a good time, and they get more invested. And obviously, it's more affordable for everyone, especially right now when WWE's charging an arm and a leg while gas is expensive and food is expensive. We can barely afford it. For them to bring out the house shows back, I'm all up for it, man. And I actually can't wait for this summer when they roll out the schedules and we get to see a little bit more out there. Now, I don't think it's going to be like back in the day where we had it consistently every week. I think it's going to be maybe once or twice a month. But that's a lot better than we had gotten before.
Agreed.
Yeah. Anybody else have any more thoughts about this, though?
No, yeah, agreed. As far as the schedule is concerned, I hope it's not going to be to the point where, Vince McMahon had it back in the day and during his era and stuff like that, where it was like for sure every week, like these superstars will be wrestling 5 days a week, maybe 6 at times, depending on whatever case to be. I think right now, pertaining to the schedule, like you said, the wear and tear is going to be a key factor. So if they can keep it at a minimum during the week or even at that in the month, I think that just will be even better for them. It's just repetition. It's any sport like they do for basketball, football, soccer, anything like that. Repetition will be key to your success. So if they can do it that manner, then fucking all power to them, man. It'd be great.
Yeah. What about you, old man? What you got to say? Like any more closing thoughts on this or any excitement or, like anything you want to see? Hell, what about this, guys? All right. How about this? So it's kayfabe. It's off the script. Really, anything goes. Right. What if we got some key scenario matches? You know what I mean? Like, what is a couple of matches you would like to see on a live house show where all these superstars come together? Like random matches. It doesn't have to be a dream match, but it's like, what if so-and-so met so-and-so on the live house show? Because it's not going to be taped. So there's no risk to be played besides someone recording it with their phones, obviously.
The entertainment one would be Danhausen and Cody Rhodes. Like for them
Danhausen,
crossing paths with each other and then having just that little chummy time in the ring or whatever entertainment, that would be gold. That would be gold. So I would go with that one.
What about you, old man? Any crazy scenarios you think?
Right in I'm thinking about what's his name? Evans.
Javon Evans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Javon Evans right now, he's a rising star, so it'd be good to have him perform with like Cody Rhodes or anyone within the world title or Intercontinental title or US title. Have him perform with them so you get a better he gets more better at I say connecting and getting chemistry with those heavy names that he could work with.
Okay. Oh yeah.
I would like to see that. One match for me, and it's just random. It's not like a dream match, but it's kind of a match that I would like to see more for the comedy because I think these two guys will work together. So there's one would be Obafemi, and Obafemi's been doing great. And honestly, on Monday night, I don't know if you guys see where he brought in Garza and I forgot the other guy's name. When he brought him in from backstage and he forced him to wrestle him in the Obafemi Open Challenge. I thought that was hilarious. Even for him to be a big guy, it's a good comedy spot to have. Him being a powerhouse, but yet still hilarious for him to do that type of stuff. So I feel like he could dab a little bit in comedy if he really wanted to, but yet still keeps that badass, vibe about him.
Hell yeah.
And the guy that would be perfect on the other side on a house show would be R-Truth.
Yeah. Definitely. That's a vibe right there, right off the bat. That's going to end up being some type of comedy itself already. Just him in there. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, R-Truth is not going to go over, but at the same time, I think he's going to make it memorable for the fans out there. He's going to run around. He's going to try to hide. He's going to try to do some comedy act to get the hell out of there.
Correct.
But I think it's just going to work perfectly fine with these two guys. In a way, it elevates Obafemi to work with someone like R-Truth at that legend caliber. I think at that point, those guys could collide and put up a really good show for the fans that pay good money to go see them that night.
Yep.
Yeah. Honestly, like I said, I'm excited for this, and I can't wait to bring them back. So that being said, if they do come back, and let's say they come back to the, to your city, basically, would you guys be willing to go out there more to those shows instead of a Raw or SmackDown?
I think those shows will be way more entertaining. So hell yeah. For the price of a ticket of probably like 150, give or take, let's say average alone, medium seats, you know what I mean? And at that too, remember, these won't be big arenas. This is going to be small arenas. You know what I mean? Like the Allstate or whatever case to be when they have a little smaller, whatever venue type of deal. That is perfectly fine. That is okay to be in a smaller venue, cheaper seats, enjoyable show. I'm down for it.
What about you, old man? Will you be willing to cough up a couple of dollars to end up going to a live show instead of a Raw or SmackDown?
If I can afford a couple of dollars,
yeah. As long as it says EO will be there, I'm sure his ass will actually sign up and get that ticket. I gotta do it.
In a heartbeat. Old man in a heartbeat.
Hey, I would have done the same thing if it was someone said Rio was gonna be on there. Like, hey man, the last time Rio had some house shows, they went viral. So I'm definitely probably gonna be tuned in. Probably tuned in, man.
Yeah, so honestly, guys, I don't know about you, but I'm excited for that.
Same.
And I'm ready. So, all right, so we got some really quick, hopefully, let's keep our hopes up. But Piper Niven did undergo neck surgery recently. Good. So let's just wish her all the best and her speedy recovery, man. She's been out for quite a while and she's been injured. And she has had neck issues in the past. So she's finally gotten that done with surgery. So let's just hope for the best and let's hope for a speedy recovery right there.
Good. Same for Chelsea. I'm like, you guys talk about Chelsea before?
Yeah, we did actually.
Last show? I didn't even realize that was a big deal. Well, did she mention that during Unreal? I think she might have mentioned that during Unreal.
Yeah, she's gotten injured and she did go surgery where her husband, Matt Cardona, was by her side there. I mean, it's a scary thought, but with Chelsea Green, man, she's just positive. She posted on Instagram and she had a lot of positivity out there. Like, don't worry about me, guys. I'm gonna be fine. You know.
Good.
Which
The show misses her. SmackDown needs her. I think of all things, SmackDown needs her. WrestleMania needed her. And at this point, I'm glad that she's doing well. And yes, get her back in the rings as soon as possible, but safe and healthy.
What do you think, old man?
She made a return today, I believe.
She did?
Yeah, she was not in the ring, but she was in backstage.
The segments. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, she did make. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that, but yeah, old man is right. She did make a segment tonight on SmackDown. Let's talk a little bit about SmackDown real quick. Let's not go too much in depth, but you guys saw that Royce Keys finally made a main roster appearance, cut a promo, and he got a match with Gunther out of all peoples. For a number one contenders match against Cody Rhodes at a Clash of Ability. So, what do you guys think about that? Like, overall, were you guys excited to see that? Were you guys, how do you guys felt about all that?
Go ahead, old man. I'll let you go first on that one.
From what I watched the highlights, it's good to see Royce is finally getting in the ring. And against Gunther, it means that the company is already trusting him with Gunther. They trust Royce Keys can protect Gunther and continue making Gunther look good, as Gunther's going to be facing Cody. So Royce is a good win for Gunther. But it's also good to see Royce Keys get that chance to show off that he could be a main event player.
Which I agree. And to be honest, I'm kind of disappointed that they waited this long. Remember, this guy debuted at the Royal Rumble. Where has he been besides on Stephanie McMahon's podcast talking about his sad life, which he does have a really sad life. And I like that the fact that they went into depth about that in her podcast, that we got to know a lot about him. And yeah, he went through some stuff. But at the same time, why did they waited this long to finally have him debut? He's not been on NXT. He hasn't been on Raw. He was supposed to be in SmackDown. So that was the longest rumor that he was supposed to appear on this brand. Yet it took us, 5 months to finally get an appearance? It's kind of ridiculous. But that's just me. What do you think, TDK?
I'm on the same level as you, Wendy, because it's more or less, it's just like, bro, the one time you evolve him, it's right off the bat, you evolve him with a Gunther. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be in that spot. Not at all. But what I'm saying is, make it make sense to us. Please, make it make sense first. Build the freaking storyline. Right off the bat, you just put him in a number one contender. Did you give him some type of matches to kind of be like, I've been here for the last couple of weeks, I deserve a shot too as well. X and O or whatever the case would be. None of that background. You just put him in there and said, I should be here. It reminds me of when freaking Scott Steiner showed up and he got a right off the bat shot against Triple H. It made sense because it was highlightable, but more or less of Royce. Like, you got to give some build up for a character like him if he's going to sustain longevity with us. That's what our goal wants to be, right? Scott Steiner didn't last very long, so that's why we knew that failed. So for this gentleman here, give him the respect, make it make sense, and keep him in the company if that's what you want to do, because he's that guy. He's worthy of keeping in the company for quite some time. It was a good match, but come on, make it make sense with a storyline wise.
It doesn't make sense. It's just put in there randomly. And yes, he lost to Gunther, and we kind of knew this was going to happen. He was not going to win this match. Right. And obviously, you could say, well, look, Solo Sikoa interfered, and he tried to tell Royce.
What's he doing in there anyways?
They're trying to build up a feud now where him versus Royce Keys are now into this whole feud. It doesn't make sense. Everything seems rushed because one minute we have Gunther, him and Gunther going at it, and now we're adding Solo Sikoa, and I get it. They're trying to get the storyline with them, but everything just seems so rushed in his main debut that he finally appeared, and it took him so many months to finally get there. We didn't get him at Mania. We didn't get him at any spot. You know what perfect spot he would have landed on? as a surprise entrance. It could have been like, hey guys, we got a surprise entrance for the IC ladder match. You could have took out JD McDonough, and I like JD McDonough. I think he's a great wrestler, a great seller too. They could have took JD McDonough out of the picture and inserted Royce Keys as a special entry in the crowd in the United States, not Saudi Arabia where he debuted it, that he got no reaction, probably would have popped a little bit louder because we kind of already know, WrestleMania is when the hardcore fans come out and they would have cheered, which would have made everybody else cheered. And that would have been a pretty good moment for him to debut. But instead, we waited till now. We're rushing him in with all these feuds. And honestly, I feel like his stocks pretty much went down since he signed with WWE. Do you guys remember him in AEW, by the way?
Rarely. But I want to go back to what you were commenting on the whole Solo rivalry. What ticked me off about this is that you're already having and you're trying to establish a rivalry with Damian Priest. Early in the show, you're showing up a dominance type of scenery against Damian. Now all of a sudden you're showing yourself over here with Royce. Like, what are we talking about? Which storyline are you gonna go with? You're gonna go with with Royce, or are you trying to go with freaking Damian? Like, what are we doing? Are you now all of a sudden we're gonna sit there and say you're gonna match up Damian and Royce? Now these guys are gonna be a tag team?
Right.
What kind of bullshit is that? Like, that's what I mean. It's everywhere. This show just seems like you're putting pieces of puzzles, like your checkers, and saying this piece can go there, that's gonna go there, and hopefully they're gonna cross over the right way. No, it's not looking good. It's not looking good. It's ticking me off. But no, to answer your question, when it came to AEW, rarely saw him there. I only saw him at the time when he was just about to leave and then show up at WWE. That's it.
So put it this way, he was actually shown at AEW quite often, and even though he was more of a supportive character, he was still kind of billed upper mid-carder there. He was They did a really good job with them. They did build him to his name. His name used to be Powerhouse Hobbs, and honestly, he was a powerhouse. And he did win the TNT championship, and they gave him a couple of titles, including the trios title as well. And they did make him look like a badass for quite a while. So that's why when he got signed to WWE, fans were excited to see this guy finally debuted on a bigger platform because they had bigger hope for him because he looks the part. So the fans that already had the niche fans that already knew him from AEW knew the potential. But for all the criticism that AEW gets, they did build him at least to an upper mid-carder. Right now, WWE is building him up to a mid-card at best. And I'm being generous because he's been MIA for quite a bit. Yeah. And because of that, I feel like his stocks just went completely down. They should have never debuted him on the Royal Rumble if they had no plans right after to basically show off his skills, show off his character. They had no plans. So you're like, from there on to now, it just seems like it was just a whole waste.
Yeah.
Oh man, what do you think, by the way?
Didn't watch much of AEW. Sadly, it's hard for me to catch AEW sometimes, so I haven't been able to watch them like I used to. But I think I saw him have a program with Brian Cage, if I'm correct.
Yeah, he had Brian Cage. Well, that was his first. That was like when he first came up. He had programs with John Moxley as well. He had programs with all the top stars you could think of. And also he's best friends with like Cody Rhodes and them. So it made sense for him storyline to appear tonight with Cody Rhodes. But honestly, right now, it looked like AEW did a lot better so far with him. And had he stayed, I think they still would have pushed him to the upper mid card. I don't think he would have ever been a champion, unfortunately, which I think he should have been an AEW champion. But I think at this point, I think WWE has no clue what to do with them and is showing pretty well. Did you guys think it was necessary for him to lose tonight against Gunther?
I think if you're at this point right now, this is why it doesn't make sense, because you're establishing him with Gunther, right? You Gunther, put it that way, pronunciation right? Let me get that right. You're establishing with Gunther. At this point, we already know what they're trying to do with Gunther. They're trying to make him, again, the powerhouse. You've already made him a legend killer in a sense, a retiree, right? He's the guy, the go-to guy when you want to retire somebody, have a match with. He's your guy thus far in the last couple of PLEs, right? So now all of a sudden, you're gonna evolve him with a Royce, and you think that Royce is gonna overcome that right now when Gunther's steam should be hot and on the rise to be now taking the mantle over again. Doesn't make sense. Why would you want to do that? Because now it's a predictable match where it's going to say Gunther's going to win this. So now you're doing a detriment to Royce when you're trying to make him a powerhouse too as well. Again, bad involvement, bad storyline setup. He had a great match, but the story just makes it fall short. It lackluster in that. And it's gonna hurt his run when it's time for him to actually make a run. Right now, all I see is a lot of Ryback scenario. And that's all I'm seeing right now, what's going on with Royce. It's a lot of copy and paste with Ryback, and it's like we don't know what to do with him. He's a big bad guy. Hey. He's a big dude. Let's just put him in a match. Have a match.
Hey, man, don't be doing Ryback dirty like that, man. Come on, man.
Come on, man.
You're gonna compare him to Ryback?
No, it's the same. He's going to have watch. Royce is going to have some type of motion where he's going to be like, feed me. He's going to do something silly like that. He looks the character, and it's going to happen. Watch. It's going to be bad. It's going to be weird.
Oh, man. Ryback was one of old man's favorite wrestler of all times. All right. He would tell you a lot differently.
That's only because he agreed with the feed me more stuff. That's why old man would agree with that
more.
One.
That's what old man was about the whole time. Yeah, feed me more. What do you think, old man?
Well, first of all, I wasn't that big on Ryback. I felt like Ryback was they were trying too hard to make him replace Goldberg and Brock as he was around. Royce has potential. I feel like that's why he went to WWE is because he felt that, one, he has more of a better, how you say, where people get to see him better.
Yes.
He gets to perform better. If they do him right, if they build him up correctly, you're bound to see him face up against guys like Miro, guys like, Rusev, guys like Rusev, like Obafemi. If you could build him up and have him win, then you can have feuds with these guys later on.
True.
Mm-hmm.
If they mess up, he's not going to have a feud we would expect him to have.
Right.
And then they're going to have, like Tony Kissa, another Ryback scenario where the guy had hype, but it went down. The only difference is that Ryback clearly wasn't that much of a smart wrestler.
Yeah, so yeah, that's true. So, but like to me, it's like this, man. They do this right. They build him character. Look, I'm gonna just tell you this: in AEW, he wasn't good on the mic. Look, so his mic skills are not as great. All right, he's okay, but he's not as great. He's not on that par level. But his wrestling skills are there, and he has the looks. And look, you could get by with that with the right type of manager involved. But the thing is, I don't know about you guys, but it's like you don't see many managers these days besides Paul Heyman, and who else is a manager at this point? Paul Heyman, Kiana James, maybe, and really that's about it. Like you don't really have too many manager roles left in WWE, and I don't know why, because the managers for the right type of persons could elevate them to the next level, and then teach these guys eventually how to cut a promo. It's like Brock Lesnar. He came in green as hell, and they stuck him with Paul Heyman because he didn't know how to cut a promo. But over the years, being with the great mind like Paul Heyman, eventually he picks some things up, and when he does cut a promo, it's not that bad actually. It's pretty good.
Correct, Mundo.
Yeah, so like to me, it's like the right type of manager could do well for Royce Keys. So I don't know why they don't pair him with somebody like. Build him as a heel. I think he just works better as a heel. Build him up, have him destroy people, because God's sakes, he looks like a fucking beast, man. He looks great.
Yep.
And then eventually, guess what? You have your next big man on SmackDown. You have already the next big guy on Raw, which is Obafemi.
Yep.
Down the line, maybe 2 years from now, if you build both characters right, they could meet up at a WrestleMania, and that would be some epic shit, you know? But
start off would be Survivor Series. Start them off at Survivor Series when they got to pair up in the team and they got to collab, and all of a sudden they're face to face, and then that builds that up when it comes to WrestleMania, because now it's like, so with all these guys out the way, mano a mano, let's go at it. And it definitely builds it up to a point where it's going to have a hell of a match. And agreed, manager is perfect in this scenario for Royce if they have the right managers. If they can just really be confident enough to say this superstar is better off as a manager, be paired up with this gentleman, and you go out there and you guys steal the show how much ever you can in whatever fashion you can. And let's build something here. Take it from there. It just seems like WWE, like you said, does not want to go with the manager. Feels like a superstar should just go in there and do his thing. Nah, you need one. Triple H had one when he was dealing with Ric Flair for a good minute. Ric Flair wasn't really wrestling. He was more of a managerial type of standpoint in the legacy, or no, the evolution. Sorry, thinking about the other guys. So it works. It helps. Let it happen. Let it happen.
Yeah, I agree. But look, man, I'm just gonna tell you this, bro. Like, I know John is still mad about the whole Ryback diss. So don't compare, Royce Keys to Ryback, because he was mad about that. You can tell, dude. He feed me more.
Yeah, that's right. He felt a little butthurt about it. I'm sorry. My bad. You're right.
Don't ever disrespect John's man like that.
You're
man.
right. You're right.
All right, John. I mean, old man, you're right, old man. All right.
My apologies. Don't fall asleep on me. Don't fall asleep.
All right. So let's move on to the next topic. By the way, guys, let's talk about Rey Fénix. All righty. So I don't know about you guys, but you notice that Rey Fénix doesn't get shown a lot on SmackDown where he's supposed to be. Now, he has a good screen time, not as great, but he has some good screen time on AAA. But since they signed the Lucha Bros, which first they started off with Penta, and we have known that Penta has great success now and is selling merchandise like crazy and is really connecting to the fans. And we knew that coming in that this guy was going to be a success, because in other promotions like Lucha Underground and like AEW, he was already over, and the fans already was like behind him so much. So this guy with the right marketing team was gonna do wonders. Now here's the thing: his brother Rey Fénix, on the other hand, did get tagged on injury time in AEW, so it prolonged his involvement with WWE eventually down the line. But when he finally joined, we did get his whole debut on SmackDown. But he kind of just disappeared after that.
And he got injured again, right?
He did get injured. Yes. He got injured.
It's hurting him. In all honesty, the injury point is hurting his strive. It's hurting his consistency right now. It's hurting that momentum. And with that injury in there, we're right. We can't connect to him. We can't sit there and feel the energy that we feel with Penta when he's in the ring and when he's vibing with us in the promos. We can't feel all that stuff because he's gone. And then when he's in there, he's thrown in the mix, and all of a sudden he's a savior of something and interrupts something, whatever case it be. And then all of a sudden he's back out again. So it hurts him. It's hurting him. So I don't know what you can do with that one.
Well, he did get better eventually, and he's ready to wrestle, but WWE Creative has nothing for him anymore. And I get it, but when you have, I'm gonna put it this way: between him and Penta, Rey Fénix is the better wrestler. Rey Fénix has better movesets. His moveset reminds me of a young Rey Mysterio.
Correct. Yes,
and that's gonna connect with fans like crazy when they see that.
Yep.
So there is marketing behind Rey Fénix. Now, when it comes to promos, I don't know where Rey Fénix is at, because I think Penta's always been the more of the promo guy. But let's put it this way. Let's be honest. Do you think Rey Mysterio is a good promo card?
Hell no. No. Not even
close. But guess what? His style spoke words for him, and that's all Ray Phoenix need. It's his wrestling, and he will do wonders for marketing for the WWE. He will sell masks of his own. He will connect to the younger crowd, younger kids, because he's a smaller size person.
Yep.
But yet they don't find any type of creative with them, and he expressed his frustration on X, and he did mention saying yes, he is frustrated with his control and creative right now in a way. Then he also says in the future, he knows that this is his brother and all, but he wants a shot against his brother for the IC champion down the line.
Let's do it.
And so put it this way, you were right about the injury thing. You know what else also stunned his growth was the fact that Andrade left WWE and went back to AEW. And the reason I say that was the rumor was, and it was really big rumor, that they were going to stick Ray Phoenix and Andrade into AAA and somewhat SmackDown on a tag team base. They were going to stick these two guys together, and this was going to be Ray Phoenix's big moment to shine. Andrade left. Nothing came up about it. He was put on the shelf once again. And, that does stun his growth.
Yeah.
And personally, me, I will love to see a one-on-one match between him and his brother. I think that would do wonders. And, I mean, they know each other very well, so it'll be great chemistry in the ring. Old man, what you think about that?
I think, from what I think, Ray Phoenix actually competing in AAA.
Yeah, he was competing in AAA, but he does, put it this way. He does do matches, but he's not involved with so many big storylines even there. And regardless, I love AAA. I do watch a couple of episodes here and there and a couple of the pay-per-views. But WWE is the big time, and he went from AEW to AAA. That's a downgrade. All right. AEW to WWE's main roster is the upgrade. And I get what you're saying, old man. I do get it. But let me just point that out. How do you feel about that, old man? Do you think that is a downgrade, or you think I'm wrong here?
No, actually, I don't think it's a downgrade. You know why? Because I believe that they sent him, they sent the two Americanos. They're sending a lot of people to AAA to help AAA build up. So when you send your elite wrestlers to a show that needs to get focused on by the American audience, the outside audience, not just Americans, but now you got the Saudis out there. You need them to even pay focus to it.
Okay.
How are you going to do it? You're going to do it with people that they're familiar with. True. So, in my opinion, I feel like that's why they sent Chelsea down there. They sent the Americanos down there. They sent Phoenix out there so that they can use their name to elevate the show.
Which I get you with that, man. I do. But the thing is, he put his frustration on X that he's not being used as he wants to. So he doesn't feel about that the same way. Because I feel like he feels that he should be more on the main roster because he sees his brother, I'm sure, on Raw killing it. And he feels like, he's been demoted in a way. Because, you wouldn't put that, your dirty laundry out there unless you felt the type of way. So I get what you're saying, and I get how you see things there. But, right now, I just feel like he has a lot of frustration. And honestly, I had high hopes for him. Because, like I said, between the two brothers, he's the way better wrestler. He really is.
Yeah. I think that goes into play right there. The injury stunts the growth. When you stunt the growth, now you're stuck in a limbo for WWE to decide where they want to put you at. Because now they don't know where to plug you in at this point right now, because everyone else is starting to build up a storyline. And if they are really trying to invest in it, now we got to put you in it too at a late rate. It's difficult. So that's why these type of scenarios, it's hurtful to these new superstars that come on board. When you get the likes of a Becky Lynch who gets injured and you thrust her into a main event or whatever case to be, it's kind of well established that she should, because she's already put in the work. Ray has yet to do so just yet for WWE. So you can't just thrust them in a scenario of a storyline and just expect gold. They need to know if they can really trust in his work, and they're still trying to trust in him. But with this type of collaboration right now, it ain't working. And these type of scenarios, you need the right one to put him in there. And honestly, like I guess what Wendy brought up when it came to the Wendy and when it came to the Penta and Ray, it's too soon for that. And they know it too as well. WWE doesn't want to do it just yet to pair them up. They want to do it at the right time because they know it's going to sell. It's just we need to get the fan base behind Ray so that way when we get this happening, we're good to go. Now they're at the same somewhat level. Now it's to be who's the better brother, who could take over the mantle, and it's going to be boom, boom, boom. Great show.
So what do you, any other thoughts, old man, on this?
Piggybacking off of Tony Kid, one thing I am going to agree with is that I feel like Ray had, look at the fact that he debuted at WrestleMania against El Gran Americano.
Yeah.
He took Ray's place. Ray took Ray's place at WrestleMania at that time.
Yeah.
But then, like Tony Kid said, injuries have caused Ray to fall back a lot. And WWE is known to mistreat wrestlers who get injured easily.
Yeah.
You want a good example, you had Bryan Danielson, who was on his way, became world champion, gets injured from a neck injury. And remember, they mocked him because after he got injured, Cena goes on to win both belts. The ones that Bryan won.
Yeah.
Cena wins them, and for a good while, Cena was running to the ring with the belt over his head neck.
So that's a good example, old man.
That's great.
But like, so that's a good example. But it's funny though. Like back then, the one that was running the show back then was Vince, and now TKO's running it, and yet they seem more colder than ever. I guess
exactly
especially with the releases and shit that's going on.
Yep.
But yeah, that's still a good example. It's just crazy to think that we went from Vince's craziness of if these guitars get injured, fuck them, put them on the shelves, to TKO's like fuck them and fire them later.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's just demote them. Let's put them on these other shows. Maybe they'll have some success, and then we'll probably bring it back. Maybe.
Yeah. Alrighty, guys. Let's move into the next topic, and this one, shout out to SG3. Scammer alert. Randy Orton's used SummerSlam trunks were on sale for $50,000.
Nope.
On eBay, it seems like, and other websites.
Don't want it.
And so put it this way. Randy Orton himself shut down the rumor on X and explained that I remember these pairs. I signed them for a fan at an autograph session one time, and these are replicas because my used ones are somewhere else at a I guess he donated them to one of those WWE programs.
Yeah.
So I know for a fact I have the authentic ones, and this guy is ripping you guys off for $50,000. So this fan basically custom made it, went to an autograph session, had Orton sign them, and then eventually try to pull a fast one on somebody out there.
That's crazy. What a dodo.
What do you guys think about this one, man? Anybody want to comment on this? But this is just crazy. But this is how. Imagine that though. If Orton didn't go out and explain that these are custom made, someone out there could have bought these trunks, and they do look alike. Custom made ones. He probably spent a good money on it. He probably spent like $2,000 to get custom made because he thought I'm gonna make a killer ass profit when I sell these things for $50,000. But when Orton put that rumor out, those $50,000 trunks went back down to maybe like, I don't know, $500.
Give or take.
Yeah. With that autograph on them.
First off, it's some draws, man. You want to sit there and try to replicate some draws? You couldn't have done the boots. You couldn't have tried to replicate the freaking wristbands. You couldn't try to replicate a photo or some other stuff that made some other memorabilia, a necklace, a chain that he probably wore, a vest, the scarf that he was on at one point or whatever case it be. You couldn't have done that. You decided to pick the draws. That just goes to show you a weird dude to try to replicate some draws.
There's someone out there that would have bought those draws and wore it, man.
And he would have worn them. He probably would have sniffed them before he wore them. He probably would have done all that type of stuff. But really,
man,
come on,
you would have bought the trunks, right?
It seems like you're very affected onto that, aren't you, Wendy C. Savage? Like the dirtiest mind, always thinking about me in a way. But no, you know what? Point out something that it's weird that fans will go as far as they can, and they're not even fans. I'm gonna point this out. Sometimes you get people who are not fans who find an easy way to make a buck. Remember that guy who watched that Tom Brady video? Tom Brady saying he's retiring for good, and he went to the place where Tom Brady was at, the sand where he was standing on. Mm-hmm. He gets the sand, puts it in a jar, and he tries to sell the sand on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's Taz that called out a guy one time because this guy, he bought these toys, right? And he takes them to Taz, and Taz was like, name one of my matches before I sign this.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. There's been issues where even fans go there to meet them up at hotels and have them sign stuff. Mm-hmm. And a lot of wrestlers refuse to do so. And I understand why now, because obviously you're taking money away from them because they have an autograph session, they have a photo ops. They make you pay for that, and also you're disturbing them in their private time. So I'm all for wrestler support and having them refuse to sign yourself or take pictures with you. If they say no, that's on their private time. You got to respect that. So yeah, no, I get that, man. Some wrestling fans are crazy, and I think this guy really thought he was gonna put a fast one on everybody. And had these trunks basically sign off, and yet go back, spend $2,000 to make them custom made, probably another $300 to get an autograph.
Oh,
and then eventually just lost it all when Orton for some reason put him on blast. And shout out to Orton for at least doing the respectful thing and saving some fan out there that would have bought that stuff, So that would have been bad. Imagine that $50,000 down.
That's what he was trying to sell. He was selling some tantarans. The tantarans, I got these tantarans on. Get your butt out of here, man. No, that's weird. That's
weird. Yeah, that's the fact Orton, if they would have been sold, would have damaged Orton at all, knowing that this guy got fake replica. I don't think it would, though, would it?
No, I don't think it would have damaged him per se, but I think it would have been more even beneficial to adding on to the heat on the media for him to come out and say that, and then all of a sudden they would have went after the gentleman who sold it and said, "Why would you sell me this replica?" and try to pawn it off as a real one, which is pretty much still are doing that right now. But for him to do that and actually sell it, you need to give the money back, that type of deal. And he probably would have been like, "Nah, I'm not giving the money back. It's mine. I sold these underwear for X amount of dollars. Here you go." Nah, dude, weird.
Yeah, well, look, man. I mean, at the end of the day, thank God Orton came out and basically saved the lucky fan out there from buying this because, like I said, people buy stuff. It's at the end of the day, people have bought pants, boots, belts, and all this other stuff. And look, you're a super fan, right? You're gonna probably get a mannequin, dress them up. It could be like the immortal Hulk Hogan from head to toe. And people just have them for display, not like they're gonna wear them or anything. So I could understand that. But imagine someone did drop that much money, Let's say if it was Hulk Hogan's boots, so to say.
Right.
And I think his recent boots went on sale for $1 million. I think Logan Paul bought that. But the reason why, obviously, is to bring up the market and then resell them once again, which is ridiculous. But someone out there could have done the same thing. And thankfully, Orton came out there and said, "Yeah, don't buy these. These are fakes. I got the real ones, the authentic ones. So just letting you guys know." Yeah.
If you guys know Michael Jordan, he does that. He has a signed agreement with a company for him to sign off on some memorabilia. So as far as fans going out there, sit there and say, "Hey, can you sign this?" It's a general, respectfully, no, I can't. Legally, I cannot. I have to do it this way, whatever case it be. It saves his authenticity when his signature goes, and it helps the company that has the product, and it actually, goes and shows the person who buys on it, shows the fact that he bought the product, and then gets it signed, particularly in that format. So now we know it's a one of 15 or whatever case to be. So that way the market is at the right place where it needs to be at. That's when I guess seems like these superstars need to kind of have that market for themselves too as well now.
Yeah, and I agree with that. It's crazy, but hey, let's move on to the next topic.
Yep.
And that is Big Bill from AEW's contract. It's expiring very soon, and the deal is believed to be expiring at the end of May or the beginning of June. Do you guys know who Big Bill is? Do you guys have any idea? I know you guys. Big Cass, yes, Big Cass. So,
hey, all right, cool.
I personally, look, I like Big Bill. I think he's been doing great work since he left WWE. Personally, I don't know where he's gonna land, but ever since he's been back reshaping his life, stopped drinking, getting in shape, I think he's done a lot better work. He's better on the mic. Overall, he's had a better look. I don't know, man. What do you think where he's gonna land at this point? Because my thing is, does he resign with AEW? Does he go back to TNA? Does he go to the Indies once again, or do you think he goes to WWE at this point?
I would prefer him to stick with AEW, if not TNA. I do not want to see him in WWE right now. And it's not just because of the fact that I'm saying he's not ready for big leagues. He sure is. I think he could still have a great more following on these two other platforms just because he's the big man in either or.
Yeah.
And that way it benefits him the most when it comes to his market value. So let him do that. And then when it's time to be like, all right, let me get the big for my buck in WWE and join the other big men, perfectly fine. He's doing well where he's at, and it can happen either or. And I'm fine with either or. It's just it's better market if he stays in either or performances.
Right. What do you think, old man?
I agree. He should go to either stay with AEW or go to TNA. Right now, he needs to build his market. He needs to be a world champion on either platform so that WWE can get an eye on him. Because if he goes to WWE with no world championship status and nothing of a merchandise seller, they're going to keep him in the mid card. And this guy is tall, can talk, has pretty good wrestling skills, but Kevin Nash and Psycho Sid weren't known for wrestling skills. So Big Cass could go in and be a world champion at least once or twice.
Yeah.
And be utilized as a big dominant fighter, But he has to go somewhere where they can make him a name, a household name. So when he goes back to WWE, they're gonna treat him like a household name.
True. You're not wrong with that. Yeah. Look, so my 2 cents is this: Big Bill has done wonders in the indie scenes and in TNA, and he was doing pretty good when he landed in AEW with the contract. So his peak to me seemed like when he was in the Jericho learning tree with with Brian Keith. There we go, Brian Keith, and they were having that whole thing where they were under Jericho's wing and they was taking them in and teaching them the ropes. And it looked like when Jericho left, because he left at some point, says, I'm done with you guys. I'm doing my own thing. It looked like eventually they're going to finish off this storyline where eventually they both betray Jericho and then Big Bill gets pushed to the next level. But they never finished that. And at that point, Jericho did not return to AEW for quite a while until this year.
Right.
And this happened back in April of last year. So he basically at this point suppressed his push and it never led to anything. So I preferably would like to see him stay in AEW because I feel like if pushed right, he could still be a bigger superstar. But if not, TNA would be a good spot for him better off because he was doing better at TNA in my eyes. And I think it'll be a good spot for him to return back there and get some more, now that it's popping a little bit more, now that they have better shows out there and bigger events, I think it's a good look for him to go back to that environment. Because, look, AEW is nice for him, but at the same time, they're not going to push him to upper mid card because he has a talent, he has a look, he has a good promo skills too. Like, at this point, I don't know. Maybe it depends on him. Maybe if he just wants a big contract, which I think AEW is going to offer him, go ahead, stay, get your bag, let it be there, and keep it going, man. But overall, I don't know. But I hope he finds work somewhere if he doesn't resign to AEW. But the way he looks like, I don't think it's hard for him, man. I think it's just going to do wonders.
Yeah, it's just to see where he ends up, but it's going to be either or spot will be just way more beneficial. Like I think we're all in agreement that either or spot is just going to be better for his market, and it just makes more sense. He's the big bag. He's the big guy. Like he could be a bad or a good guy. He's like my skills have always been somewhat good enough, and then just gotten better over time. So it's like you can be either or. You could be the savior of the company, just depending on the scenario when it comes to the big bad guy, or you could be the big bad guy and trying to take over the company if you like to and have your own little entourage. Whatever happens, you have that potential, and it's either or. And I think right now AEW, let them stick there, let them stay there, let them be homegrown over with the company, and let them keep running that company. If I was him.
Yeah, let's just see where Big Bill lands. I mean, hopefully he lands somewhere well. If not, resign with AEW. I just don't think he's WWE bound. That's for sure.
No,
not yet. So let's get some good news out there. We got Rusev, or some of you guys may know him as Miro, wherever you know him. Him, and you guys remember Gang Grill, right?
Yeah, Gang Grill. That's
so
right.
They launch a school called Keck Pro Wrestling Academy. In Nashville, Tennessee. So as May 2026, this school offering training for both adults and children, focusing on the fundamentals to advance in-ring skills, character developments, and old school techniques, with enrollment information available through their Instagram and website. So overall, these two guys collab. And by the way, guys, if I'm correct, I think Gang Grill did show Rusev a lot of the ropes when he first started in. So that's why they collab together. That's why they're trying to teach the next generation. And both these men launched their own school. Look, the more schools out there that are open, that are basically owned by professional wrestlers, I think the better they are, because these guys obviously had time in WWE in different versions of different era. Those two guys collabing and going together and creating the school, I think is a good idea, man. What do you think overall for this? Congrats to them, and by the way, but what do you guys think?
Go, man. You go first.
Oh, man, go ahead.
Okay. It's a good thing. If they're going to be teaching younger talent to come up and become up and comers, why not? Dudley's had it, and some of their students have become wrestlers. Booker T had it, and look at Roxanne Perez. That's a Booker T student.
You know who the Dudleys train? The Togan brothers. So Tongaloa and they trained all of them. Yeah, Haku told them if you could take them under his wing when they were young, and they trained them all. So that's how they got really good, thanks to the Dudleys. So I like to mention that. Sorry, old man, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
But no, you got to get that. It's a good thing that you told me that they trained, because I know that there was some guys that came from the Dudley school that they come on to become wrestlers. Same thing as I said before, Roxanne Perez, a Booker T student, went on to become who she is now. She's WWE programming. Another one that comes from a school is Shawn Michaels' own wrestler student is Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's a good point, old man.
Yep.
All right, TDK.
So you never know. Probably you might have a future world champion coming out of that school.
It could be. I hope so, man. I really do at this point.
Yeah.
TDK, what you think?
I'm all agrees with you guys. More of the schools, the merrier, man. It just creates potential for other kids like us, and we're not kids no more, but adults like us who have a certain dream. You have a certain dream that want to get in the ropes and just kind of wrap it up a little bit there to see what it feels like, or even at that too, have some type of dream to have at least the match or whatever case it be. It's fine. And what we talked about earlier about house shows. Some of these house shows bring on hometown talent at times to kind of mix it up a little bit, especially if a big guy like Royce to kind of just squat up, go in there and just cut the ropes. Entertainment purposes. So here we go. We need more of those type of superstars to go out there and do such and have some fun with it, at least maybe. And it just goes to show that the love out there for these superstars and what type of difference that they can make for other superstars. Like, in my opinion, to have Rusev and Gangrel in there is like, you guys had a small reign of success in your run. Like, you guys didn't have a dominance for a good while. You guys had a small glow. Gangrel, you had a small one because you had a badass theme song. You came out during Attitude. You looked like a vampire. Wrestling wasn't really all that great, but you were solid for what it was when it came to entertainment purposes. Same thing with Rusev. Different story. Great appearance. Had a great storyline, but when they want to change them up differently, it's hard. It's hard to kind of collab with the audience, but I'm fine with it. I'm good. It makes sense. There's teaching in it, and sure enough, somebody who understands the teaching and sucks in the actual process of it can do something better with it. I'm fine with it. That's awesome.
Yep, I agree. Hey, you know what? I think it's time for us to talk about one thing, and I think Old Man's going to like this one. Kevin Nash has recently been talking about that wrestlers should once again try to start a union between all among wrestlers to help each other out. Shout out to Jesse Ventura that's been talking about this quite a while already. But yet now all of a sudden we're back at 2026 trying to restart this all over again because Kevin Nash had a brilliant idea. So let me get you some context real quick. So overall, he talks about how it's been heavily produced, how it's been a lot of producers and writers that even if you come to think about it at this point, they could basically go to the Writers Guild and ask them for help, And I think they will get the help, honestly, because at this point, it does classify as a television show and performers in a way. Okay. And they could get protected by the Screen Actors Guild. I think that's what it is, the Screen Actors Union. Sorry.
Yeah.
I vouched that. And it does classify under their program. And obviously, he's been cited to report that the pay cuts that are affecting a lot of talents while TKO executives, including royalty checks. So he was talking about him with Shaw Waltman that they noticed that they started merging all of these like stuff that used to get paid for, like his content, like Big Sexy t-shirt and then NWO t-shirt. It was all separate, but now they merged together to pay him one royalty fee. So his checks are getting shorter, plus they're cutting people's salaries in half. And honestly, I mean, in a way, he's not wrong, man. I never really agree with Kevin Nash because I think he's bitter and old. But that's just me. I kind of do agree with him this time that, yeah, I think this is long overdue. Now, could it ever happen? No, I don't think so. I don't think wrestling could ever have a union. It's just too much to ask for. There's no type of environment that could land on in wrestling, unfortunately. And I say that in a sad way because it's just not the state of wrestling where they classify these guys as independent contractor in the end of the day. But it has also been known that he was talking about the Hall of Fame and how back in the day they had a lot of catering when he used to go out there. But with TKO, they did not have anything. They only had like a protein bar, a couple of crackers and chips and soda, and that's it. When back then they used to have the spread and everything. That's how much budget cuts are affecting WWE on TKO's side, where they're really cutting down the really little things in wrestling. And he also made a statement that says, now that you're cutting the salary of all these wrestlers, that should mean that these shows should be a lot more affordable because you're saving a lot of money. So why charge the fans so much to attend these house shows and these live events? He does put a lot of good points, man. It looks like he has a lot of good thoughts out there. And on Monday, we did say that he did mention that they should let Triple H do his own thing and stop interfering on his creative parts. And for him to come out and say that, knowing that Triple H is one of his good friends, you really start thinking like, how much input does TKO have on even on the creative these days? You know that the celebrities are a TKO idea. So what do you guys think? What do you guys want to add to all this? Unionize.
Go for it.
He also mentioned the product is soulless, and I think we all could agree with that.
Agree. Go for it. Go for it for sure. Because what we witnessed in the last month of all these cuts from these superstars, recently what happened with Xavier and Kofi, and then furthermore these other rumors that are happening with Roman supposedly about contract distribution right there.
So let me cut you in real quick.
Go ahead.
Those rumors ended up being false, and so a lot of it came through the whole scheduling, that he was cut off from the schedule for in June. So what happened was, in WWE's part, they messed up. They thought someone that was creating those schedules to show out there thought that he was going to appear, even though it was never agreed to the first place. So it looks like that's been debunked. I mean, for the most part now.
Yeah. Okay.
Just letting you know.
But okay. So despite that part right there, but again, remember that was also kind of shedding some light in the meantime, shedding a lot of negative light on the contract negotiations type of deal that TKO's handling. So you as a superstar going in there and not feeling the vibe, and then really kind of saying, is it really true, is it not true type of deal, and not being assured, I need guaranteed money. I need to make sure that when I go into a business like this, an atmosphere like that I'm not going to get undercut like these guys did at one point. Because Alistair came back for 1 year and 1 year only, and all of a sudden he's back out of the company, and now he has to go look for another job. Like,
if he can find one.
So in that manner, it's like, nah, when you guys, yes, they need some type of established and some type of security as a superstar reaching and trying to reach the heights that they want to go. And if they can't get that, then it's just not good right now for them. And they're one of the performers or superstars or athletes in general that are going into this type of position that nothing is guaranteed at one point or another. Nothing is guaranteed. That contract can be just guaranteed for today, but tomorrow it could be a whole nother different story.
And we saw that recently with all the cuts, the releases that they made after WrestleMania to save a lot of money in their eyes and to put a big bonus on these executives' checks.
Yes.
Big bonuses. Yes. They love their bonuses, obviously.
Yeah,
that's really what more important for us WWE fans, is that these guys could take home a big pay. That way they can live in their mansions, and we over here have to pay premium prices to attend these live shows. What do you think, old man?
They could do a union, why not? Because like you just said right there, you just pointed out the main thing is these executives are getting paid while they're not even doing nothing. They're just sitting on their ass. The ones that are putting on the show are the ones that are firing.
Yep.
Look at the fact that in this man's era, that WrestleMania, once it was done, people had a fat WrestleMania check. And McMahon always made sure that all the wrestlers competed at the show so they could get paid. My second opinion, Kyrie Sane would never have been fired under Vince McMahon's era. If she was part of a story, he would have kept there until the story was over.
Interesting.
And knowing her popularity, he would have kept her because she's a popular star.
Yeah.
So I think, one, TKO, this selling it to TKO was like the worst decision. Even though people were like happy at first, we come to realize that it was a really bad decision to begin with.
Yeah.
It's the same formula, but just a little bit more extreme compared to what Vince McMahon had.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, I agree with that.
You guys remember when AEW first launched, and the first thing they were talking about is try to get these workers health insurance, try to get these workers more like comp, try to get these workers more incentives and stuff. And the insurance thing was really big at the time because it did sound like they're trying to unionize the game. The issue is They never did any of that because it's a hard thing to do in the end of the day, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And to this day, I hope one day they could figure something out. I really do. And you never know, man. We got to hold hope, and we got to hope because these guys really do need it because these guys put their body on the line.
Read.
And yeah, they do get paid pretty well. But unless you're the top stars, you got to pay everything out of your pocket.
Yeah.
Hotels, limos or whatever you want to roll in, food, gym equipment, boots, makeup if you're wearing makeup, anything you see out there, you got to pay for it out of your pocket. And
Which
that's
sucks.
a lot of money spent every week.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But it's crazy. And honestly, this is the one time I agree with Kevin Nash because honestly, he did put a good point out there for once. And he didn't tear a quad in the process. So I'm happy about that. I don't know about you guys, but he ain't broke no quad. He's still walking. He's still going good when he said all this stuff. But the next PLE that's coming out soon is Night of Champions in Saudi Arabia, right?
They better be freaking hosting all champions.
So put it this way, believe it or not, this PLE sold out.
Oh wow.
Everything's sold out. Tickets are gone. It is crazy that this pay-per-view sold out despite of the issues that going on in that area. Where they were talking about that they might not even host it for a bit. And in the end, they decided, you know what? We're going to go there for the one night. So, and the thing was, they were going to go on the SmackDown before, but they said, you know what? We're not doing SmackDown. We're just going to go for Saudi Arabia because they don't want to risk being there 2 days in a row. They want to get the one day done. They want to get the Night of Champions, and somehow it's sold out. That is just crazy out there. That people out there are deciding, you know what, it's safe to go. And honestly, I don't even think the wrestlers decided that it's safe to go. But of course, they have no choice, really.
Right.
Because WWE and TKO is kind of probably forcing them to get out there and keep going. But are you guys basically, shocked that this happened, or you guys kind of seen it coming?
Yeah, seen it. But it's glad that it's managing that factor when it comes to superstars. I think they're trying to handle it as best as possible so it doesn't go overboard, and also to keep a certain boundary up so that way they're not the ones also, out the window. I think you're treading lightly, but I think they're doing smart enough business to kind of make sure they're still relevant at this point.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about a couple of more things real quick. All right. One is this, guys. I don't know about you guys, but R-Truth has hinted to the fact that he may be retiring pretty soon.
Oh.
He said after his current contract is done that he's just going to call it quits and call it a career. But he has entertained the fact that if WWE wants, they could give him a John Cena run of his own and give the best hits of R-Truth.
Ooh. Okay.
Personally, when he said this, my idea is this. He knows for a fact that WWE is not going to resign him. He was lucky enough he got resigned last year with the We Want Truth movements. Even though Triple H pretended like it was part of the show and he never fired him. He didn't fire him, but he wanted these guys to let their contract expire and release them. But it backfired, obviously. He knows for a fact he got lucky with this contract. He signed one more good contract, but he knows after this, it's done. It's a career, unfortunately, for him. Whether he wants it or not, I think at this point, this just seems more of a fact that, look, I know my career is going to be over after this. I'm kind of getting old. Might as well just call it quits. I made a lot of money. I want to be with my kids. I want to be with my family out there. Why not just maybe, if I'm lucky, let them give me a proper retirement match or a send-off,
Yeah.
What are your thoughts about this? Personally, I'm going to be heartbroken.
I'll go old man first. I think I've been going first for the last few times. Go ahead, old man. What do you think?
Let me hear it again, too. I kind of got lost track with there.
Okay, so R-Truth has hinted to the fact that...
Okay. So this is based on R-Truth thinking that this might be it for him once his contract's over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell you the truth, hopefully it's more of a retirement and not him leaving the company. And that way we can still get him around kind of like in a capacity or another.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like an ambassador for the company.
Which would be nice.
Yeah.
he can still do programming. He can still show up in the background. And then, I think because one thing I agree, I think R-Truth needs a break. That guy, I haven't seen him taking a vacation at all.
Even though he doesn't age.
Facts.
No, not at all.
Facts.
So I think if he's gonna take he's retiring, that's cool because I think he's one of those guys that earns his retirement and should be, hanging at home with his family.
Right.
Something with them, doing some family time. So I'm cool with that. But if he left to another company, I won't mind seeing what they do with him over there. But I think they really let him be the guy that he is now, the comedian, fun to watch wrestler. So I don't know if they would allow him to do that in another promotions.
I mean, I don't see him having any issue if he decided to go to TNA because that's where he had his big run. That's where he really got his name out there as Ron the True Killing. And remember when he returned that gimmick shortly after return, and he looked like he was going to turn into that character, although it was short-lived, really short-lived. I don't think they have any issue of him going out there using that name or any other name. I think it'll be fine if he decided to go out there. Look, WWE is not going to re-sign him. The reason why is, one, his contract is too much. Two, he got lucky with the fan movement. But at this time, they're probably going to put their foot down and say, you know what, bro, you got to go.
Yeah.
And at that point, also, I think he will call it quits. And also in WWE's eyes, you got to think about it now. They got their comedy spot, and that is Danhausen. They pay him a lot less money. So why not at that point? What do you think, TDK?
No, yeah, I'll go with that part. And that's just, it's, it's difficult in the scenario of like where it's going to end up with. But at this point, you kind of have to let the dominoes lie where they go. And to kind of stay face for that, just move on. Just move,
Yeah, no, I agree. At that point, you might as well move on and retire and just call it a career. And honestly, he had a good career.
Phenomenal.
Honestly, he had a phenomenal career and he had a resurgence. So a lot of people, once they get old in wrestling, they kind of go downhill. There's only a few guys that maybe even further back up, and that is R-Truth, really. That is one of the
Sting too. I mean, Sting did the same thing when it came to retirement, and then he still keeps popping up in there. But when you have those moments, you can't just keep recycling them every so often like that, or else it's gonna stay stale at some point, and it's not gonna mean as much. So for them to go ahead and say, I think it's time, and have a last hurrah, cool, let it go. And R-Truth has just been that type of superstar where, he is lucky enough to last this long with the company and have great moments. But I think even himself, R-Truth, like, you have other endeavors, go for it, take care of it. You're still a family oriented kind of guy that comes over and hangs out with the crew here in WWE. We love you. You've done great business with us for so many years, but I think it's time. I think we can both agree that's mutually say, let's hang up the ropes right now. Let's let it roll.
Yep, I agree. So let's talk about WWE's higher-ups believing that AEW will not secure a new TV deal under Paramount and Skydance. So already know that AEW's deal is going to expire their TV rights pretty soon. I think it's next year.
Oh.
And at this point, with the merger going along, where obviously things are getting bought out in the Warner Brothers section, AEW's at risk of losing their TV deal rights, and they may not resign. Their hope is that they want to sign a Paramount to their platform, but they're not too sure. So WWE higher-ups are believing that, yes, they're not going to resign. People within WWE has been questioning if AEW will be able to get a viable deal even elsewhere once their contract expires. And it looks like there is some slim options because if you think about it, WWE does have their touch on every other platform. Netflix, I think Tubi with Evolve. What else am I missing? They got Peacock still technically.
Yeah.
They got ESPN Plus.
Yeah.
And eventually, I wouldn't doubt if they try to land somewhere else between all of them. Now, think about it. Where is that left for AEW when HBO Max is going to merge into Paramount Plus.
Prime.
It's a scary thought right now going on.
It really, that's be the only location that you can end up right now. Prime right now, like Prime has a great collaboration with NFL. All right, yeah. So okay, cool. That right now, currently, you could end up in Prime if anything. Apple TV at this point right now, in a sense or whatever. That right there could be another establishment. And for Tubi itself, yeah, they have Evolution or LFG too as well, or just mainly Evolution. Okay. In my opinion, I think even Tubi would be like, if we can land some type of cool ass deal with AEW, I think this will highlight Tubi itself too. And then all of a sudden, we're going to have to pay it for another subscription to Tubi or whatever case, because they have a nice deal in that matter.
So the only thing that I think that might be an issue is that I feel like WWE isn't dumb, and they know this might be a possibility for AEW to sign eventually, like to a Tubi or somewhere else that they're in already. They probably put on their contract that we're going to allow you to show Evolve and other shows on your platform, but there'll be no other wrestling promotion besides us on there.
Ooh.
I guarantee they have something on their contract, because I doubt if they let's put it this way.
Yeah.
If AEW shopped around to Netflix, I doubt Netflix will even be interested, because they're like, sorry, it's on their contract. We can't sign you if we wanted to, you know?
Yeah.
Oh man, what you think?
Kind of agree with you guys. I'm not too, because they need to find a platform. So Paramount might be a good platform for them. Right now, which is weird because Paramount has TKO's UFC, so I'm trying to figure out how that would work out for them.
Yeah, it's really a scary thought. And like, put it this way, look, we all obviously have our criticism with AEW in itself, but personally, me, I would not like to see any wrestling promotion go ever. And I think that I hope that they land somewhere else. So they did ask Tony Khan a while back, like, hey, if you guys don't even land a Paramount, where else would you guys go? He did mention one. He said, we'll just land on YouTube TV. Like, he's already saying like YouTube TV, and I think that's a good platform to even land on.
It's everywhere.
Yeah, and at this point, this state of age, man, does anybody really watch TV?
No. It's all streaming stuff. It's when I could binge or if I could binge. That's pretty much the question.
Yeah, I know there's very few people that even have cable. Very few people now. And less people are cutting the cord and they're going into streaming. So I think YouTube would be a great platform for AEW to land overall. Oh man, what do you think of them landing to YouTube TV?
That'd be a good option too, because like some of your kids, but you barely have anyone on TV nowadays. It's more everyone is more on streaming. So
yeah,
I think them streaming would be the better option.
Oh, so they can't land a Hulu, that's for sure, because Hulu's the one that has LFG and the SmackDown rewinds as well.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, it's crazy though, man. They're going slim down.
Oh God,
all right,
everywhere.
So put it this way, real quick. Jake Paul has said on this podcast that WWE has put a ban on him from appearing on their promotion. All right, so that is crazy to hear about, that Logan Paul's brother that is wrestling. They don't want Jake Paul to appear on the crowd or appear anywhere backstage. They don't want his ass in WWE. Do you guys want to take a guess why? Because he didn't really say why, but do you guys want to take a guess? I kind of already know why at this point.
Okay.
Well,
maybe TDK knows, because you follow more of the this type of environment.
Somewhat. I mean, somewhat. But as far as the reason why Jake Paul is being, gone from there, is just because of, I'll put it this way. Big thing is his talk. He makes you talk. If he's talking trash, he probably made a bad comment on the platform itself and talking trash about the company, which then, okay, fine. Bitter taste. Then we don't want no business with you. And the last time we seen him, I think, was at a WrestleMania moment with Jake Paul, and then him and freaking Speed, and they're all three streamers, whatever case, be doing something silly, stupid, or whatever. and nothing panned out. And there was, if I'm not mistaken, a so-called matchup that was supposed to happen with the Paul brothers were going to join together, but again, never happened because Jake Paul just decided to back out or whatever case would be pertaining to the negotiation. So I don't know.
I want to add a little bit to that. Well, a lot of the thing is that Jake Paul has been bad mouthing UFC and Dana White.
This guy,
and he has his own promotion, he has his own thing going, and he's bad mouthing them. And we forget who did TKO basically really fall into? The whole UFC
correct
basically scene.
Yep.
So you this one company, guess what? Your ass is not going to get a contract with WWE anytime soon.
Facts.
Unless you go there, apologize personally to these guys.
Never gonna happen. But yes, that makes sense.
What do you think, old man?
I believe it makes sense that they're not gonna want him around because he's now the competition. With him having his own, training program, he's already going against TKO. So why invite somebody who is now your enemy?
Mm-hmm.
That is true. That is true. Personally, I would like to see the Paul brothers have a match at some point, down the line in WWE. Maybe not now, but eventually Jake Paul's not going to box forever. I mean, he just got his jaw broken not too long ago.
And he said himself too, he might be retiring. He may not be able to go back to the ring because of that injury.
I mean, if you got your ass broken jaw like that, I mean, I wouldn't want to go back to the ring myself. I'm not gonna lie.
Hell no. No way, no siree.
I don't blame him. So at that point, what other options does he have?
Right.
He's not gonna go anywhere else. He might as well join his brother. And I think they'll have great success, these guys. I think they'll be super over. Look at Logan Paul. He's very over. He's a great heel. He's a great mic guy. Yes, he's a piece of shit outside, but I'll give him credit where credit's due. He's a great wrestler.
Yeah,
he really is. And out of a short time, he picked up the product. It's great.
Agreed.
Who knows? Maybe his brother could be just the same because these guys are athletic. So down the line, I would like to see him in WWE, but I'm not gonna hold my breath because unless this motherfucker apologizes, there is no way WWE's gonna be able to get this guy.
Yeah,
at all.
Yeah.
So you guys have a segment that's called Reject of the Week, right?
That's right. That's right.
All right. How about this? How about I'll let you go ahead and tell me who the hell made it on the list, and that is Reject of the Week, because I want to hear this. I haven't heard this in quite a while.
Sounds good. Yeah. Let's see if I can post this bad boy up, put this on the map, put this on the screen, everybody. Let me chime in real quick and hold up. I know it's there. It's my platform. Share the screen. Share, stop, replace. Hold on. Hang tight.
We're holding, man. Ain't no one else holding but old man over here.
I know, for real. I don't know where the source is going to come through, actually.
Come on, man. They're only giving old man about an hour and a half because he's going to get cut off in jail right now.
Right. Exactly. It's cut. If I can paste this and share the screen, I don't know where it's coming through. That's the only thing. I know you guys have a little thing. It's on there. Can you click on there? Actually, Joe, do you see that other source on there for you?
I don't got nothing on my side.
All right, let's see.
You might just want to send them the photo on to his phone and see if he get a little.
Let's see. I want to replace it. Also share, but it's more or less of where it can go through. All right, let me do this. Can I? No, that ain't gonna work if I pass it out. My Lord, I have a little thing on there, man. I want to share this with you.
How about I guess at this point, how about you just tell us who made it on the list?
Well, okay. So normally here at the Reject Run Now, we post this bad boy up. We do Reject of the Week, everybody, right? So this week we got Mr. John Cena himself. Okay, you're in the Reject Rundown. I'm giving the Reject of the Week to John Cena. The reason being is because this gentleman over here co-signs a ridiculous event. All right, it sounds nice. But at the end of the day, when you're establishing the rules and how it's going to be formatted, you're co-signing the wrong event, man. It just seems like a well-established American Idol mixed in with King of the Ring. It don't make no sense to me. In all honesty, it doesn't make any sense. The John Cena Classic, and then Mr. John Cena, you're gonna tell us that you're gonna give us another title belt when these title belts that we already have, where's the storyline to those title belts? So now we're gonna get thrown in another title belt. But again, that's not gonna have a storyline. That's gonna be these superstars who are gonna really compete. Doesn't matter if they win or lose. It's all depending on the fan base and who they vote for a win, and they're gonna get a classic time of day, right? That's what we're establishing for.
Yes.
Why? The newer superstars, these superstars that go in, the format is meant for a King of the Ring. That's what these matches are for. If you really invest properly into a King of the Ring like they should, then you give a beneficial to these superstars who are on upcoming and veterans alike to now have a match with each other to see who comes up and becomes King of the Ring for the future or in general for the present. Right? Yeah. So why are we doing this, Mr. John Cena? Why are we doing this? Why are you co-signing this? You're getting all this because now you just bamboozled everybody because everyone's all in disarray. Everyone, when you establish it in Backlash, everyone's like, what are you talking about? What's going on with all that? So when it finally rolls out, I hope it makes sense. I really do hope it makes sense. But for the meantime, for a lot of fans' confusion and a lot of weird, setup to this, sorry, you're getting Reject of the Week, my dude. You're getting it. You're getting it today. Everyone can get it, and right now you're getting it. You're getting that.
I'm gonna add some 2 cents to that. So when I first heard this, I didn't think about King of the Ring. I actually thought about how it sounded so much similar to the Owen Hart Classic.
Ooh,
that's what it's called.
Okay,
the Owen Hart Classic in AEW, or another one that AEW has, the Continental Classic, that were all done before this announcement, obviously years in advance. This sounds very similar to that. All right. And then there's another thing where he says fans get to vote who wrestles who in a way. Doesn't this sound like Cyber Tuesday, Cyber Sunday from back in the day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's correct. When they had like an on-screen, on-performance type of deal, and say, okay, so here we go. Oh, got it. I got it finally with you guys. So here it is. The Reject of the Week, everybody. The actual setup for y'all. That's who's getting it. Reason being, of course. And then this is what the rules were, everybody. This is the exact rules of what we're getting here. Recurring annual event, not a one-off. Oba Family, the likes of who are these NXT, what's it called? NXT names that are collaborating with them and could be in this event. More details to come. Who freaking cares? Because the details are already getting right. Bamboozling to everybody. It's confusing. Determined by the WWE Universe voting and not just in ring. So again, that right there throws me off. Like, the victories don't matter. It's the performance only based.
Well, it's whoever fans vote in. So let's just say this. Let's say Danhausen enters and loses all his matches. He could still get voted into the main event, supposedly. Doesn't make any sense. So that means win and losses do not matter in this whole tournament, which doesn't make any sense. It seems like it's so confusing. It's not adding up. It seems like it's a Cyber Tuesday, ripping off Owen Classics, giving us a title that's probably going to spin around just like the old days. Where, look, I love the spinner belt, but we're outdated.
Agreed.
Right? Yeah. And I don't want to see John Cena's logo on it. And I think John Cena's the GOAT. I really do think he's the GOAT. But look, my man, your time is up. Everybody's time is now. Yeah. Oh, man, you've been kind of quiet, man. What do you think your boy John Cena?
Yeah. Do you think you agree with the Reject of the Week?
I'm actually going to defend on this time.
Oh, damn.
Part of my life.
All right, go ahead. Shoot away.
Because they're giving the wrong person the Reject of the Week.
Okay.
It's not his fault that this tournament exists.
All righty.
Usually it's TKO. We
Okay.
should have given it to the owner of TKO who booked the tournament, who started this the idea.
Well,
TKO created and TKO itself.
well, hey, let's not stop from TKO. Let's add on. What about creative and what about Triple H? They
That's
co-sign.
it.
Yeah.
It's a co-signing to it, man. All these people. Yes. Go ahead.
Remember, John Cena is an ambassador to the company.
You're
so
right.
John Cena is a yes man. He
Okay.
doesn't have any say in what's going on.
And you're
You think
100% right.
John Cena's gonna create a tournament that sounds this stupid?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
like
you're right about that.
in the actual announcement himself, as he's telling the story, it's like he's trying to convince himself that this is a great idea, guys. This is gonna make sense to everyone.
Aren't you guys excited?
Aren't you? Doesn't
I'm
this
not excited about it.
doesn't this 1976 car that's on one wheel? Don't you think this is gonna look great on your in your driveway?
But the belt spin, brother.
Go somewhere, man.
That's why I'm like, you put it on the wrong guy because poor dude could send out there to sell chicken shit, to sell shit at chicken soup.
You know,
And you're over here like, I'm actually defending this guy. And I think he's a modified jackass, but it's cool. I have to defend somebody once in a while.
hey,
So I think, in my opinion, it should be the TKO creators and TKO owners themselves.
yeah, I think it's Triple H, Emmanuel, all those other guys, that just are idiots when it comes to the business now. Look, if they wanted this whole segment to go over, John Cena should have just busted out one like he did on the Grammys and just get naked and show out there. I think that would have got the whole thing over at that point.
Before
like when he sold this to the crowd, I felt like there was a lot of confusion and there was a lot of negativity going all around social media.
Look, Backlash was actually pretty decent. The freaking match between Williams and Sammy was a little slow, a little bit, but it still ended up being entertaining afterwards. And then all of a sudden, you throw this mix into it after somewhat great performances with it. Then Backlash, you threw me off, man. I'm lost. I got lost. I wasn't really in tune afterwards. Energy was down. Didn't like
you guys watched this live, right?
Which live?
The Backlash?
Yeah.
So what was like your reaction when you saw it live? Like, how do you feel? Like, what was your thoughts?
Dumbfounded. Honestly, dumbfounded as to what was happening and why this was being announced. Honestly, this to me was like, why? Why are we getting a Cena Classic? You're establishing and telling me it's just a fancy open challenge. But even then, when it came to describing the matches on who was going to be voted and blah, 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 like you fans can vote. Like the fact that you said that out loud, you wanted to hear a pop from the fans to make it cheerful. But again, lost.
Real quick. Imagine when they say you fans could vote. I could picture old man over here sending a ballot in an envelope. Back in my day,
here's a stamp. I gotta send this in real quick and make sure it arrives on time.
Thinking about right now, and Tony Kidd and me, we've talked about this so many times that SummerSlam needs an established main event match.
Yeah.
So what you could have done is you could have created that John Cena tournament with the winner getting a men and women championship match at SummerSlam.
Would have made sense.
That would have made sense. Instead of people voting who wins, they could have voted per match.
Yeah.
Who competes in it.
Yep.
That's it. You just vote who competes and the stipulation per match.
Ooh.
So
even better.
You know what this shit reminds me of now that we're talking about this and we're brainstorming, we're giving each other kind of ideas. This reminds me of the Night of Champions titles, them big ass clunky, you never seen those huge titles that are bigger. I think
Crown Jewel you're talking about.
Liv Morgan won the title and Seth Rollins won the title one time. And it was like a huge title. It was bigger than Liv Morgan, basically.
No, I think you're talking about that freaking Crown Jewel title that they were having in Saudi.
Crown Jewel title. And that
Cody has it.
Yeah. And that
Cody won that
reminds me
one.
it reminds me of this one because it's like you're gonna win it, and then next year we'll get a new champion. So the title means nothing.
What happened to that Crown Jewel Championship? Who won? Like, have we seen that one again? Challenged and won since then? No. So you're right. It don't make no sense. You're gonna put this out there, and you're gonna tell me that it's a annual thing, and we're gonna have this recruiting. But once you have this event, fans, especially if the fans do not reconnect with it at all whatsoever, and we get on this platform and we start trashing you guys, you ain't gonna want to do it again, and it ain't gonna happen. So please don't stop before you can keep going.
You heard about WWE using now that they're admitting that they're starting to use the tools of AI. This seems like they put in a bunch of pieces. King of the Ring, Owen Hart Classic, Crown Jewel. They typed in every single shit. John Cena, Cena's belt. And they said, we'll put it on Chat GPT. And this is the bullshit that they came out with.
Exactly. Give me a similar set and give me an event that will sound good. And then ChatGPT just decided to list all this stuff, whatever. And the fact that the label to it was event, format, championship, winner, loss, win, twist, frequency. It just seems like a list that ChatGPT would actually give you if you're asking for an actual setup of an event. No, this don't make no sense.
Actually, I hate to bring it up, y'all, but I think there's a point in a few months ago that ChatGPT crashed. I think this is the reason why.
It took too much shit. They're like, oh damn.
It's like these guys suck. We gotta suck too, man. No, we're done with this.
ChatGPT said, I'd rather not use this, but here you go.
Right. I'd rather not go with it, but if this is what you want.
I heard ChatGPT actually reply when they asked for all this. ChatGPT said, "Are you sure?"
No, they questioned it. Why?
Yeah, at the end, why? That's funny. That makes sense. But it sucks.
Once they created this whole event, I heard that once they were done creating this event, again they asked TKO, how does this work?
Explain to us, how is this a good idea?
Right. Like, nah, it doesn't, man. I'm telling you, it's a bad idea all around, and the execution of it. I'm sorry. I can anticipate already that there's going to be a lot of mistakes, especially with these freaking vote-ins. Like, fans are going to try and establish a vote-in, but then all of a sudden it's going to end up happening where the app or whatever page that they're trying to log into to do the actual vote is going to crash. And all of a sudden it's going to speculate as to, well, the fans did vote this. No, they didn't. You guys are just voting yourselves now afterwards.
So that was going to actually be my question. Are you going to say basically what I'm saying is that you think, and I think, and I'm sure Old Man's going to think eventually, you think WWE is going to, pretend that fans voted for this person, but actually we voted for the other guy on the other side, but we're going to be forced to eat whatever they want to feed us. Just like Ryback says, feed me more, right, Johnson? I mean, right, Old Man? Yes. Anyways, what do you guys think of all that, though? Like, honestly, you think that WWE is going to play the part and just basically lie to us and tell us that they all voted for Cody Rhodes or Obafemi, but we all voted for fucking Dan Housing, Kit Wilson, maybe even Jelly Roll,
Yep.
But they're not going to tell us the truth.
Yep.
What do you guys think?
I agree. I feel like that's a TKO signature on it.
The best way you can do this is put it on social media. Put the votes on social media, because then you can actually see the actual count per post.
Interesting. That would be nice. Yeah. Well, you remember that's what Cyber Tuesday and Cyber Monday. Cyber Monday and Cyber Sunday used to be about, where they put in the actual votes. And what I heard back then, they went with it. So whoever they voted, they have gone with it, because there was a time that I forgot what wrestler was facing Batista, and they voted, and Vince was like, holy shit, I didn't think this guy was actually going to get voted in. I guess we got to go with it, pal. And they did go for it in the end of the fucking day. So I really do think they're going to fuck this up and they're gonna force these wrestlers to go in. Now, let me ask you a quick question. Predictions, real quick. Do you guys see a celebrity entering this whole tournament? And if so, what celebrity you think might enter?
Bad Bunny.
I wish.
I was thinking that in my mind, but I'm thinking to myself, like, he hasn't been training like that. There has been no reports of him actually training because he's touring. And I think right now, yeah, he would be the one that people want. But I think we'll probably end up getting a Jelly Roll guy, like you said, a Jelly Roll. But even then, if I'm not mistaken, Jelly Roll is having some issues already, so he's going to kind of take a step back away from WWE. So you probably won't see him. Hey, Little Yachty's been in there, right? If I'm not mistaken, he's been all over with Williams, so he may end up being the one.
What if Little Yachty ends up wrestling now? How do you guys feel about that?
I would still rather have him than Tyler Scott or whoever the old dude was that was paired up with John Cena for a good minute. I would rather have Yachty than him. Just saying.
What about Pat McAfee, man?
Even him at this point right now, he could be a surprise entrant in this case with me. So
look, man. I think at that point, if you use this as a celebrity spot, you're just wasting away the whole tournament. The younger generation, man. How the fuck is Pat McAfee, Little Yachty, Jelly Roll, or fucking any of these guys, the younger generation, man?
They wasted the spot at WrestleMania. Why not? Let it happen here. They'll definitely go with that.
RIP to a real one. But if the gingerbread man was still around, I would have had his ass in this tournament. That was the only guy I would have voted in right away. Fortunately, he passed. So RIP to him, man.
All right. That makes sense. I can go with that too.
What do you think, old man? Any final thoughts on this?
Yeah, Gingerbread Man should be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh my God. That I'll go with that one.
That's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That might have happened for next year in Saudi. I would not doubt it, man. That would be hilarious. But
yeah.
But
that'll flow well.
That will flow well. But look, guys, it's been a great night with you guys.
Hell yeah.
Man. We appreciate you guys joining us, collabing, talking about wrestling. Honestly, it's been a great stream. We got to find another day to do this eventually once again. Shout out to the Reject Rundown. Join them, subscribe to them. They do all of pop culture, if I'm correct,
all
dab
entertainment.
into everything.
Exactly.
Join TDK and join the old man out there. They do a lot of great work, man. You already know, guys. Windy City Savage, like and subscribe. Tune in to next time, man. We'll see you on the next stream. Dig it.